Hello everybody, it's Rich Bullard from Reno, Nevada. I'm here to talk about and tell you a little bit about the PITA, my history with them and when I started and how I learned about it and the organization as a whole. Many times people think of the PITA as this small kind of loose group of people that get together once in a while to have a potluck. And I would tell you, that's not completely true. I think that it's gotten lost in the shuffle that although it's a smaller group regionally through the western states and Hawaii and Alaska, of course it's not as large as the ATA. However, as far as caliber of shooters, it's like everywhere else. You've got pockets of people that can compete at the highest level. We've had over the years a number of people go back that are mainly PITA shooters, go to the Grand American and trophy. Not only trophy, but win championships. We've had a number of people that are, ex-military, were on the U.S. team. Richard Schroed comes to mind, was one guy and actually is from Bend, Oregon, where we're going to have the PITA Grand Pacific this year. Richard Schroed, I think, is the 2007 clay target champion. He beat some guy you may be familiar with, Ricky Marshall Jr. in a shoot-off. They were the last two, and he ended up winning, and I think it was 07. Schroed is from Bend and lives right there, and will probably be at this year's Grand Pacific. In addition to that, there's a number of great shooters that still compete in PITA. As far as when I got involved and how I started with my father, when I was a kid, going out to the old Herald's Club. Many of you across the country remember Herald's Club. We had the Golden West Grand. They actually had the Grand Pacific at Herald's Club for many years prior to it moving to Evergreen and Salem and bouncing around a little bit. But there was one guy that was pretty prolific in the PITA. His name just happened to be Dan Orlick. And Dan Orlick, for those of you that don't know, was the first man to run what's called a 4x4. He did it in 1969 in Reno, Nevada. Went out 200 in the singles, 100 in the doubles, and then he backed it up with 100 in the handicap. The first time it was ever done. And in the PITA, as in the ATA, Dan was kind of like a god and considered one of the very best. So I still love shooting PITA. You see a lot of your local friends regionally from Idaho, in my case, Nevada, California, Arizona, Idaho, Washington. I haven't made it over to Colorado to tangle with a few of those guys, and I haven't made it to Canada and Alaska, and I haven't been to the Hawaii State Shoot, which is supposed to be a really good one, but for the most part, have traveled all over the West to shoot and compete in the PITA. You guys, on a final note regarding the Grand Pacific, and I want to talk to you and let everybody know, the PITA, although being a smaller organization, of course, a lot of volunteer labor, but we've got a group of people right now that care and work diligently to put on what I think is one of the best shoots in the country. You would be hard-pressed to find anyone that doesn't enjoy this shoot, not just from the competition, but the camaraderie, some of the games and things that they do. We have our Hall of Fame dinner there, but in the group, the executive committee is, I think, headed up, our president right now is a gentleman by the name of Mike Riggs. He runs the Portland Gun Club. I'll tell you, works tirelessly for the organization and is still as motivated to help as the day I met him. You've got Bob Robertson, one of the just an excellent double shooter. I've never seen anybody that was quite as mechanical quite as proficient, but is our secretary treasurer handling the money. It's funny how you work with these different organizations and you see somebody that's so capable. Bob was previously, I think, vice president of finance for Daimler Chrysler, and now he's handling the books for the PITA from a treasury standpoint. Just a great bunch. There are so many on that executive committee that get involved and work. Jennifer Carter's been on it. She's the past president. Sadly enough, most of the names escape me on the board, or executive committee, but all of them work their tail off. And really to put on one great, it's our Super Bowl every year, the Grand Pacific. And this year it's going to be in Bend, Oregon. Bend Gun Club was moved, I believe, there in 2007. I think I was one of the first, it was one of the first shoots when I started back to go to, and they had been, like a lot of gun clubs across the country, squeezed out by the city. They needed to find a new location, and unlike a lot of gun clubs that just close up, give us the money, and we'll go find something later, Bend was smart enough, the group, to say, hold on, we're not going to shut our gun club down until you find us another location. You buy it, zone it, have all everything done with the municipalities to get a gun club in place. They did it. And this gun club, I want to say it's 10 traps, might be 12. The gun club itself, it's funny, first time I was there, it's built to last forever. I don't think an atomic bomb could take this thing out. It's built out of steel and metal. There is no wood structure anywhere. It's there to last. And a guy by the name of Dwayne Storm up in Bend, he's a good friend of ours, PITA shooter. He poured concrete to the point where I don't know if he made any money on the deal, but they sure put a lot of concrete down. Nice slabs, everything's level fields. You're shooting it probably the same elevation I live at. It reminds me a lot of northern Nevada. It's a high desert target. I call it one of the nicest targets in the West when everything's right. You get, at 4,300 feet, you get that West Coast cruiser that some of these people kid us about back east, but we like it out west. So going back to the group of people for the executive that are on the executive committee, you couldn't ask for a harder working bunch, and it is a thankless job. And they usually work diligently to really roll out the red carpet for everybody. And I haven't been to Bend in a few years, sadly enough, because I've been in other locations, but this year with us going back there, I'm really looking forward to it. It's about a 7.5 hour drive for me versus 11 to Evergreen, Washington, which I love too. It's a neat spot. In the middle of July, when everything is fairly warm, this tends to be a little cooler spot too. So, hope y'all can make it.